watching the #1 podcast in the whole entire YouTube wrestling community. And I'm one of your hosts, Juan.
And I'm your other host, Jean-Paul Leek.
And together we are Raw Break. And Paul, I think are you ready for some bullshit? Because it was pretty bad. The show is absolutely god-awful. Nothing of importance right here. And a lot of matches that we thought they were going to happen at TLC were actually given away on free TV. And next week is going to be the same thing. How are we doing?
Yeah, there's one thing you can count on every Friday from 8 to 10, and it's just a bad wrestling show. And that's what we got here tonight. So like I said, it's consistent, and you can set your watch to it. So why do you even watch it? Hopefully you don't. Hopefully you just come here and watch Rope Break. We do all the dirty work for you. We sit there for 2 hours, watch this awful show. That's what it was. A lot of these matches should have been seen at TLC. They gave them to us tonight, but they were all bullshit endings. The two main matches. The one that should be the Intercontinental Championship feud ended in a bullshit way. The SmackDown Women's Championship ended in a bullshit way. And, everything with Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns, I want it to be legit. I want it to feel good. And in typical WWE fashion, they make it feel less legit.
Yeah. They make it look really, really bad. And now it's just I'm rooting for Kevin Owens even more, but now with all the beatdowns and everything, I'm like, is he gonna win? No, he's not gonna win. I want Goldberg to actually come back, spear the crap out of Reigns, do the jackhammer, and done. But that's not gonna happen. But before that, thank you for the love and support that you're giving us. The show keeps growing, and that's because every single one of you. And like he said, thank you for letting us sit down for 2 hours because the weekend got the best review for you guys, because this show is absolutely sucks. Something that doesn't suck. NXT UK review. Tyler Bate is back. Finally, he went to face his student A-Kid. We love this main event. Some spots there were not too good, but let's Paul do the talking here. What do you think about it?
Yeah, what do we always say? This is the best. We go from quite possibly the worst WWE show, SmackDown Live, to the best WWE show, NXT UK. This is a great show. The main event was good. The return of Tyler Bate versus A-Man or A-Kid. We saw the Noam Dar, the Superstar sessions, and it was good. We saw the Hunt. They're going to be challenging next week for the NXT UK tag team title. So NXT UK continues to impress for me. My favorite show, in all professional wrestling.
Absolutely. Don't forget the invite for being with us tomorrow night. Impact Final Resolution. We're closing every single weekend. We're closing every single one of the wrestling promotions with their final shows. Final Resolution, it will be for Impact. Like we said, it's going to be a pretty interesting pay-per-view. Not even a pay-per-view, but it's going to be extravaganza or something that they do for the Impact Plus app. So be with us for that. A lot of good matches. Rosemary is going to be challenging for the Knockouts Championship against Diana Perazzo. Rick Swann against Chris Bay. So good stuff. Don't forget the invite. Be with us tomorrow night. So now let's talk about the first segment of the show. Sasha Banks and Carmella, again, it was supposed to be a match that was supposed to take place at what? TLC. So then we're going to have a contract signing. Did it happen that way? No. It didn't happen that way. It actually turned out to be that, they rebooked the match for later on in the night. It became the main event. I did not like this. I don't know if because they don't have enough time for this in the pay-per-view, but Sasha Banks is in the ring. She's waiting for Carmella to sign the contract. Carmella, Sasha is well, what's going on? But Carmella had already signed this, and she has her own lawyer. So Carmella doesn't even want to come out to the ring. And this was bad. I just didn't like this. Adam Pearce was right there. He was forced to also be the administrator figure of SmackDown. So what do you think of this? I didn't like this at all. I don't like when things that should be on pay-per-view, they move to the regular shows. At least for me, I don't like that.
Yeah, and with what we saw later on, I still think this match will be on the pay-per-view, but I feel they just didn't, there's no creative direction on this show for anything else besides the major feuds. They don't have any mid-card feuds, in the works. We didn't see anything from the Mysterios, maybe they're an afterthought now. There's lots of stuff that we could see, but we don't, because WWE doesn't know how to book anything. And yeah, like you said, Carmella, she sent, there he is right there, her liaison or whatever, she sent him to the ring because she already signed the contract. She's like, I don't want to go out there. You're a crazy bitch. I don't want to have to deal with you. And, Sasha Banks kicked his ass and she was freaking out. And she pretty much says hey, you want to do this thing tonight? I'm the boss. I decide, when things happen. So let's do this tonight. Carmella agrees. Adam Pearce is like, well, that sounds like a main event to me, and he makes this match the main event. And you and I were saying, like, does this, is this have something to do with Snoop Dogg maybe appearing on AEW TV, and maybe they're punishing Sasha, taking away her match at the pay-per-view? And I thought that was the case, but then what we saw in the main event, I still think this will take place at the pay-per-view. But like I said, I think just WWE just is filling time on this 2-hour show because they don't know how to fill it any other way.
Oh yeah, and I just don't like, again, like, you have a match that is supposed to be pay-per-view, you give it to me on regular TV. So while, like we always said, also, like, this match, we're going to see the same spots, we're going to see a lot of, like, the same match, we're going to see it at the pay-per-view if it happens at the pay-per-view. I don't know what they're going to do with, like I said, I don't have a clue if they're going to have it on the pay-per-view again.
Yeah, I mean, I think they will, just because we didn't get a clear ending in the main event. I don't know why you wouldn't do it at the pay-per-view, but also they don't have to sell pay-per-views. Like I said, you have the network. I said that a couple of weeks ago, I believe, like, if you have the network, WWE already made their money. It's not like back in the day where you had to buy a $60 pay-per-view and they really had to sell you on the pay-per-view. They don't care anymore. They're like, people just create new accounts. They get the free subscriptions. What does it matter?
That's fine. Or like, Jean Paul, you give me your, like, subscription. Give me the password. You'll be fine. Yeah, I'll do it. It's true. You're right on that. But it's just, like, I want a pay-per-view to feel like a pay-per-view. I just need a feel. I need to, like, hey, save me the matches for when I'm watching the pay-per-view. If not, it's just, like, again, the same match. I don't like that. Something that is also terrible is this feud. It was supposed to be Montez Ford against Dolph Ziggler. And, of course, like, they teasing this because it's going to be, at the end, it's going to be like a tag team championship match. So, like, that's why they have a one-on-one, Montez Ford, Dolph Ziggler. Out of the 4 guys, probably these two are, like, the best wrestlers within both teams. And this match was pretty decent. The only spot that, like, for me, took me completely out of it, and you probably are going to, like, you probably know what it is already, is, like, the freaking cups. Right before they go to, like, they go into the commercial break, and then you start seeing the cups flying and all of that. Why are we seeing those things on regular TV? I don't know why, but, like, look at this. Really?
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
Or, like, is this a game?
Yeah, no, that pretty much just, it's like, hey, how was SmackDown Live tonight? Was it actually a good episode? Should I watch it? Just show them this.
Yeah.
Just show them the cups in the rain. They'll be like, oh, okay, never mind. It sucked.
Yeah,
because I like Ziggler. I like Rude. And I did like the Street Profits, but just every time I see that more and more, it's just WWE is like, hey, that thing you do? We're going to just crank that up to 11 out of 10. We're going to make it so insufferable that the people who did like you, now they hate you.
Yeah.
And that's what they did with the Street Profits. And there's Ziggler and Rude. I like I said, I like them, but I don't even know if I want them to take the belts off them because they're not even a legit team. That would be something legit to maybe have the Mysterios have. You have nothing to do with Dominic and Ray, or or Buddy Murphy and Ray. I mean, Buddy Murphy and Dominic. Like, if you want to do something, have them be a team. But this is what it is.
Oh yeah, it was just bad. And like I said, the match ended with, like, this distraction from Bobby Roode to Montez Ford. He gets the stupid babyface syndrome, so he's like, so I'm about to do my splash, but I get distracted. So Ziggler, like, hits on the turnbuckle, then he gets exposed, then he hits the super kick or the switch in music, like, of course, that's why he does it, and they get the win. So Dolph Ziggler pins Montez Ford. So in WWE fashion and style, when you pin one of the champions, what do you get? You get a championship opportunity because you don't follow ranks, you don't follow storytelling, you don't follow, like, succession of wins. You don't care about that, right? So what? Right there. This is going to see, like, everybody was already hinting, oh yeah, like, they're going to have, like, they're probably number 1 contenders, right? Well, that idea doesn't even exist in WWE. It's more like, yeah, you pin the champion, yeah, sure, you can do it. That's fine. So
yeah, and at the end of the day, they're not going to win at the pay-per-view because WWE, they love the Street Profits. They're the one in all the commercials, Skittles commercials, all the other bullshit. So they're just going to retain again, and they're going to. There's no legit teams on SmackDown. No. That's the problem. There's no teams.
The problem is, like, a tag team division that has absolutely 0 teams, and they just have these 2 guys that, like, were a team before the pandemic started. Oh yeah, let's have them feud because we don't have anybody else. I like your idea. It should be the Mysterios because at least that gives Ray and Dominic something to do, and it will be cool to see that moment like father and son having the belt around them. But no, we're gonna probably get Ziggler and Ruth, which is okay because I don't care for the Street Profits at all.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing with that, though, if you give it to Ziggler and Roode, then at least it's on a heel team, so that would make more sense for the Mysterios to take it since they're baby faces. So if that's what they do, then okay, cool, but I don't see him being that smart. I don't see him being that smart, no.
We're just going to have to wait a little bit. So let's talk about the big liberator, Sami Zayn and Big E. Like you said, this was supposed to be another match that was rumored for the pay-per-view, but no, they gave it out today for the first time. So probably these two, like you said, are going to be in the pay-per-view. But he's complaining that he doesn't have any shirts, any merchandise. Nobody makes anything from the big liberator. So Big E shows up and he has another shirt. I don't know who will buy that. I'm not buying that. I don't want that for Christmas. So you're thinking of giving me that. Please don't waste your money. Just give me a gift card. I'll buy something better. But I didn't even like this. So he goes to Big E goes to Apollo. Hey, where's the shirt for him? There it is.
That's actually the one I bought you. I didn't buy you Big E. I bought you that one.
That's fine.
The custom made, yeah.
Thank you so very much. Because at least I see Fidel Castro right there, so that's cool. So they were again hinting about the match. This finally they have the one-on-one, and I don't know how you felt about it, but I just I don't appreciate the fact that also Sammy wins in those stupid ways. I just don't like that. I mean, I think Sammy is one of the great wrestlers that WWE has. He has all the ability, the talent to pull out being a great wrestler like he is. Especially in the ring when it has good competition like Big E, I don't know why they need to resort to those kind of stupid finishes just to promote a feud.
Well, I think that's exactly what it is. It's to promote the feud, and the stupid finish now on SmackDown is to just be, maybe the match at TLC, if they do this at the pay-per-view, which I think they will. We still have, next week for the go-home show, so they can still book anything, really. I think it's going to be maybe, the match can't end in a count out, it has to be pinfall or submission. There needs to be a winner, in a legit way like that. So, I mean, maybe that's what they'll do, and I think that's just because, like I said, the same thing with the SmackDown Women's Championship feud is they, we don't have any mid-card feuds or any mid-card storylines or anything to put on the show because we can't think of any, so we'll just book the match for the pay-per-view now, end it in a fuck finish, and then, end it in a legit finish at the pay-per-view. Because who cares? We don't care about our fans. We don't care about putting on good television.
No, especially on Friday night. Probably they think nobody watches, so, whatever. Just put whatever we feel like it. And if it goes well, it goes well. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And see, I like this part, though. When Big E comes out with his new theme song, I don't care for the theme song. I just like the powder when he gets, the hands, and he threw the towel at Corey Graves. He's like, that's for banging Carmella, and cheating on your wife. There you go, you piece of shit. That's what you get. So good stuff on that. I like that. And the match itself, like I said, at the beginning, a little bit good.
The match was good until
I like this part. Look at this.
He was making fun of him doing the dance. No, I thought the match was good. Then when he went for the haluva kick and a Biggie counter that, it was all a really good match. But then just at the end, when you could tell, he was standing on Big E on the outside, and you just knew, okay, Big E's not getting in. This is going to end in a count out. Sami Zayn rolls in at an 8 or 9 count. And then that's pretty much the match, and you're like, okay, it's just that's how we always.
Gets underneath, they start when they start doing this stupid crap. I'm like, come on, it's he's like the Intercontinental Champion. Even he said in the promo that he had before the match, he's like, I'm like Pat Patterson, IC champ, we're both from Canada, should be legit. No, just give me this crap. And like you said, he gets in the ring before Big E. There you go, he gets the win. I don't understand this. They're not really selling me into this, but that's what we got. I feel that it should be haluva kick or maybe like distraction or something, maybe a low blow, kind of old school. Give me something like that, like a heel, and then haluva kick. At least that makes Sammy look good and legit. Because of this finish, it's no. He just does that, and that's how he gets the wins. I don't really like that. So let's move on to this. Your girl, Bayley. Bayley is saying that she's supporting Carmella in this feud and championship match with Sasha Banks, and she says I don't care for Sasha at all. Because I just want Carmella to be the champion, and it doesn't matter what happens, I'll still be the leader in the locker room. So she starts talking a little bit of trash about Bianca Belair. So you see Bianca is kind of bullshit, and then you see Bianca in the back talking about hey, you're talking about me. Well, remember, and then she has a few notes, papers right there, and she says that she's been the first woman that was well. He says I was the last woman in the Survivor Series team for SmackDown. After you, the captain, was eliminated first. Also, I beat Natalya. You didn't. So kind of like just resuming like the past 3-4 weeks of TV that we've seen. And then Bayley's like, so I don't want to hear it. So she just leaves. So again, you see like they're hyping the match. It was supposed to be for TLC, but later on you will explain on that. But I want your thoughts on this.
Yeah, I mean this is a good feud if they're gonna make this feud legit. And with what we saw later in the night, it's a shame for Bayley because they fed her to Natalya after this legit title reign, and then we saw what they did with Natalya, tonight. So I don't know, but I mean this Bianca and Bayley, I like. Bianca gets under Bayley's skin, but it almost seemed like with the things she was saying, I think she even said something like, "Oh, your haircut's ugly" and stuff. So it's almost like, why is Bianca saying like heel things? Bianca should be the face in this, but I mean, I think the match itself will be good, so that's all I worry about. The talking and stuff. I know it's all just WWE fed bullshit.
Oh yeah, it's just bad. It's just bad, like you said. So now another promo from like Carmella. She was interviewed by Kayla Braxton, and she's pretty much saying that she has all the confidence in the world. She's going to be the new SmackDown Women's Champion, so she has the lawyer or liaison, like you mentioned before. He says, get ready, get me the champagne and all of that, and I want a cup full of Sasha Banks' tears. I'm just we're just going to get, and I'm going to be the champion, so there's going to be a lot of celebrations right there. This is okay, whatever. Like Carmella, like heel, it looks good. That's the best way that you can portray Carmella, and you see the cans. Now I see the tears right there.
The one thing I will say about Carmella is like the promos is really good.
Yeah.
I don't remember the promos being this good, when she was on TV last time, before her return. So maybe she really worked on that, but that is good. The one I can't take that away from her.
No, yeah, she's good. Like I said, and I think as a wrestler, she has improved a little bit. So her matches are not awful anymore. So she can actually put decent stuff. So it's not bad. Like I said, Carmella, if they keep her in this kind of run and a heel and doing this kind of thing, it's good. The worst thing in the world is this, though. So what's up, Oos? Paul Oos? So Roman asks Jay, "Are you good, Oos?" Like, "I'm good, Oos." But Roman says that you gotta be ready for what's coming. So we're going to see a lot of all these two guys one more time, and I'm already I want to turn off the TV. I already told Paul I need to shut this off, but finally we got to see Kevin Owens. He's cutting a promo, and he's going to introduce Roman and everybody else in the WWE universe and rubric he has 3 friends. Because he says, well, you have your family that help you out, that do your fights for you, but my family cannot be with me because neither one of them are wrestling related. They're not part of the WWE. So I'm going to present to you my 3 friends. The tables, the ladders, and the chairs, and he describes every single one of them. And he says that it doesn't matter if it is the best version of Roman Reigns right now. It doesn't matter how much momentum he has. It doesn't matter everybody knows that Roman can beat him easily. But in the end, he's going to give his best. And also this is the most important match in his career. What do you think about this promo? I think he did okay. The promo part of it. After that, we're going to touch upon in a little bit, but after that, I just didn't like the whole segment.
Yeah, Kevin Owens' promo was good, but it's just everything that happened afterwards, and just, it's Roman Reigns, he's not going to win, so it's how do I get excited? That's the whole problem. I can't get excited because, the rumors, everybody's waving the flag, oh, it's Roman and Goldberg at WrestleMania. Well, then I guess Kevin Owens isn't going to win, so why the hell should I care about this? And that's the shame, because I want to.
Oh, yeah, exactly. That's the thing. For example, he goes, the chairs will help me to, take away all the frustration and everything that I have for Roman. So this table is gonna be, it's really hard. So it's gonna help me, to put Roman away and become the Universal Champion. Unfortunately, like you said, when we know so much spoilers and everything, it's hard to, really get behind a feud. So also, after that, we got to see the attack because he was climbing into the ladder, and then Jey Uso starts attacking Kevin Owens. So that's the part that took me really away from it because, why is Jey have to be involved in every single thing? I don't like that. Can it be Roman and, Kevin instead of just Jey?
Well, Jay's probably going to be the person because it's going to be a TLC match, so that means no DQ, so Jay's probably going to cost Kevin the match. At the pay-per-view. So, again, to get them heel heat on Roman, he can't win without Jey, but he still treats Jey like his little bitch. And, that's the storyline, I guess. I don't know. I'm not a fan of it. The first week they had me with heel Roman. Second week they still had me. And then after that, I completely lost me. So then I joined with you.
Yeah, well, yeah, like I've been saying this, and thank you for joining. I appreciate that because I said if we know he's gonna win, why do I even care? It's like I'm caring about somebody that is never gonna win. Is when you have a team that is always gonna be mid card, is always gonna be eliminated at the playoffs. Why do I even care? It needs to be like at least a fair fight between the two of them, and I have to at some point believe that he can win. But no, in this situation he couldn't. And then Roman came out, and then he's about to start fighting Owens, but for that Jay had given him a chair shot, so he's quote unquote injured. So remember that, keep that in mind, because we will hear that throughout the whole next week and the pay-per-view day, because that is going to play out a factor. I'm pretty sure. And Roman is about to start attacking, but see, Paul Heyman, the first time that I can say that like Paul Heyman has made Roman change his mind. Because he was about to go confront Owens, but he's like, remember, he doesn't call the shots. You do. You're the tribal chief. You're the head of the table and all of that. He comes with like all of that. You're the undisputed universal champion. All of that. So Roman actually retrieves and he just goes to the back. So Kevin actually follows Roman. Like already limping. So you can see that like that's gonna play a factor. He's looking for Roman, so Roman beats his ass. Second beatdown, second win in a row. So like right there. And then Paul, he introduces himself to Kevin Owens' family and to everybody else that has not know him, which is, I don't know, a person that does not know this asshole. So he says, for you, Paul, and everybody, I've introduced myself. I'm Roman Reigns, the tribal chief, the head of the table, and I'm the guy that is going to put your family in place. There you go. I don't know what to think about this. It's boring one more time knowing that he's going to win the championship.
Yeah, and this is just, calling out Kevin Owens' family. Owen says, I'm a family man. I love my family. That's his whole gimmick and his shtick now, too, besides, stun the world. And, this is just to get under Owens' skin. And again, with what I said earlier and with what you just said now, this would be so good if we actually believed that Kevin Owens had a chance.
Yep.
But we know he doesn't.
Yeah.
Because of spoilers, because Vince McMahon has to jerk off to fucking Roman Reigns and Goldberg and spear versus spear. I wish somebody would spear him into a fucking wall so we could get some actual good creative so these shows could be enjoyable. But that won't happen. So, we know Kevin Owens thinks, we wish you would win. We really do. We think you deserve the Universal title, but you're not going to get it. So, sorry.
Yeah. Sorry, Kevin, you can be all healthy all you want, but it's never going to happen. So, like this, again, it's just like, there's rumors that The Rock is a no for WrestleMania. So, like I said, it's maybe Goldberg. Remember what we talk about? It could be, for like, it's going to be Drew McIntyre, it will be Brock Lesnar and Keith Lee. Supposedly they're denying that because the whole rumor spread out. No, that's not what we have. We haven't even booked the Royal Rumble. Therefore, we don't even know what's going to happen at Mania. So, they're denying all of that. But like the fact that Goldberg was in that interview and said I'm coming for Roman, that says it all. So there you go, family. So now let's go to something that it was like you said. If you blink, you wouldn't even seen it, and that was Billie Kay. And she was going to have a mystery partner that happens to be Natalya challenging the Riot Squad. This was, like I said, 3 seconds. Terrible match, really sloppy. There you could see that there was no communication between the 4 girls, and like everybody missed their spots, their cues. It was just a bad match. Billie Kay attacked at some point, like she injured Natalya, but like Natalya didn't even sell it. It took like a good like 2 or 3 seconds, and then she goes off the apron, and then also like Ruby Riott and Liv Morgan did like the finisher that they do is kind of like the code breaker into like the Riott kick. That also they missed. They missed the whole thing. Billie Kay also like was stood there after the kick for like 3 or 4 more seconds, and then Ruby's like, "Oh, do I have to pin her? Okay, I'll do it." And then 1, 2, 3, and that's how they went. This was absolutely bad. I just, like you said, it's just like the tag team division is bad in the men. In the women's is also as bad. It's just because like the direction, like you said, they don't have direction when it comes to like the girls and everything. So I just don't know what to think about that. But what are your thoughts?
The only thing I can say, one positive, is that the Riot Squad won. So at least the right team won, But
Yes.
this whole Billie Kay thing is just, her and Peyton Royce should never split. That was like at least one legit team in the women's division besides the Golden Role Models, but obviously they had their feud and they split, which was fine. That's the storyline we all wanted. But then you have the Riot Squad and then you have the Iconics. At least have 2 like actual teams. They split them up. Now we have this with Natalya, and okay, so Natalya gets the win over Bayley. Maybe we're going to see something like that. And Natalya gets a push, even though they never go anywhere. And what's the reason for her to get a push? But I feel like Natalya beating Bayley was just to kind of get, under the skin of Bayley for the Bianca feud. It wasn't going to mean anything for Natalya because we see here her and Billie Kay lose in, like you said, this awful match. And, I don't know. It didn't do anything for me. I blinked. I pretty much missed all of it. I saw the ending. Riot Squad won, at least the right winners. But I didn't care for this at all.
Well, yeah, it doesn't make any sense. And like you said, it's like the fact that there's not even teams that look like teams, and there's not even like girls that are put together to become a team. So it's just bad. It's just bad. Another thing that like you said, poor Odie. It started had like the best 2020 up to like the Money in the Bank briefcase, like split up from Tucker. Haven't even seen Tucker on Monday Night Raw. Therefore, we haven't even heard mentions from Otis talking about Tucker. So it's good. He betrays me as my best friend. I'm good. 1 week, whatever. I'll find new friends. And then he found a best friend in Chad Gable, and he says, we're going to train you in how to like your blind spots. Oh, there you go. So then, Odie comes from like being a character that is fun, charismatic, and now that you put him to actually be like a warrior and everything, completely lost. For me, no thank you. I'm done. I don't know what you thought about this promo, but I'm just like, really? Poor Gable and poor Otis. I feel really bad for both of them, especially for Otis, because he had, like I said, the best 2020 out of everybody in the goddamn world. But now he's just like joining to everybody else. At least that's what I can see from this.
Yeah, Otis, and this is the one thing I'll say. He was meant to be in the tag team for a lot longer with him and Tucker. He wasn't meant to go on the singles run. I feel like it went a lot further than it probably should have with him winning Money in the Bank. You know what I mean? It's like when you mess up, and instead of trying to backtrack and fix it, you just mess up so big that you try to be like, oh, well, maybe if I mess up so much, it'll work out in the end. I think that's what they tried to do with Otis. They're like, let's give him the Money in the Bank. Let's give him the girl. Let's give him all this stuff, and maybe it'll work out. And it completely blew up. There was no feud with him and Tucker. There was no big blow-off. There was, nothing where, like, Tucker kidnapped Mandy, and, there was like, oh, then Otis came and saved her. No, there was no legit storyline. It was just, he beat him up backstage. He goes to Raw. Otis stays on SmackDown. And then we see this, and, now there's reports of Otis, Keith Lee, and all these other big men are supposed to go to the PC because apparently, according to Vince McMahon, they don't know how to wrestle. The guy,
right?
The guy who doesn't want his wrestlers referred to as wrestlers, said that they don't know how to wrestle.
Yes, so. Yes, yeah. It's like, and they're trained by both Adam Pearce and Drew Gulak. So like they are Tuesdays and Thursdays. So days that like Impact, and also like Thursday there's not a really wrestling show. But yeah, what's going on with that? Keith Lee out of everybody, like come on. Well, anyway, that's the mentality of Vince McMahon right there. So Otis and Chad Gable, they had a match against former SmackDown Tag Team Champions Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura. And as you can see in the match, Otis started out really good. He was dominating. I'm like, oh my gosh, they're going to drop Cesaro and Nakamura one more time. But then we got to see this spot. We got to see their Cesaro swing really good, but like for like more than like a minute or so. And then like actually Shinsuke Nakamura got the win. But it was just quick because Otis doesn't even try to stop the pin. That bothered me. I'm like, really? You're not going to even do anything? I just, I don't understand the point of this. At least Cesaro and Nakamura get a win. Are they going to be in contention for the tag team championships? No. So what is this? What is the meaning of this? Nothing. They fight for nothing.
Yeah, this was useless. I said earlier, I wish they could have had this some mid card feuds and some good storylines instead of seeing previews for the pay per view. And then it's like, oh well, how about this? This is kind of a mid card feud, and this isn't what I'm talking about. This was stupid. This didn't make any sense. If you were gonna do something, this is where you have a bullshit team like an Ever Rise or somebody like that. So then the baby faces here, Otis and Gable, can go over. And they can look good, and you can start to build them up instead of having them lose because they're the newer team. This is a matchup where you could have actually had this be a feud between, the babyface team here and then Cesaro and Nakamura instead of just having them lose the match and then they probably won't wrestle again.
Yeah, man, you could easily made it like meaningful by just adding the number one contender stipulation, but they didn't. And on top of this,
the only thing I'll call you out on that is. Does this team deserve to be in a number one contenders match? I think this is their first tag match together.
Like at least kind of like develop like mini feuds and stuff. At least like I said, potentials number one contenders in these guys, Nakamura and Cesaro. Maybe then Bobby Roode and Ziggler. You know what I mean? Kind of having like everybody else involved into this rather than like wins or loses or losses for nothing. When you fight for nothing, I'm not even gonna care. And even worse, because Chad Gable likes to say, Otis, this was a lesson for you. I was just testing you because you're in the academy, in the Alpha Academy. So it's like next time you just gotta finish it, and he's gonna finish the match. And Otis, you can see, so because this is not Otis's character. At least that's not the Otis that you've been selling me for the longest time. So completely lost.
Because the Otis that we want is the stakes and weights. Him and Tucker, like, oh yeah, Tucky. That's what we want. That's what we all fell in love with. That's what people said. Like a year ago on SmackDown or whatever it was when they first came up. People loved it. That's what they all wanted to see. And then you changed it. Like I said, they completely fucked it up. And they fucked it up so much that they thought it would be good, but now we're where we are now, and it's not good at all.
Well, you said it the best, though. You said it. The worst thing that they could have never done to this, they could ever done to these guys, it was like they never gave them the championships, and they never even went for like a championship match. Maybe they had it once or maybe probably twice, but never like in like in.
I think the only
like
time
multi teams, and that was one of the options. But they never had like a legit feud. Okay, you're gonna go for the tag team championship. They never did that. There you go. They don't care. And where's Tucker? Done. This guy comes up. We don't even care about this guy. They kind of resume still like the feud with the Mysterios. Why? Because Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch, they just got a baby. Who is the only guy that has nothing to do going on for him? Baron Corbin. So he's pretty much saying that he has a new stable with Kagler and also the other member from the Forgotten Sons. And he says this kingdom is going to be dominated the old school way. I will need to bring this gentleman. It's because I was the lone wolf, and now I'm just having my guys. And now the king can bring his son, for the next battles, but like there will be consequences, and they will be more severe. So you see that the feud is going to keep happening. It's going to carry on. I don't care. Yeah, nothing that you can do with Baron Corbin. I'm ever going to be interested.
Yeah, the only thing I will say with this, so I do like Wesley Blake. I do like Cutler a lot, and I think you have them with Corbin. That's okay. Even though Corbin is always surrounded himself with lackeys, but at least he's not wearing the Burger King crown anymore.
Yes,
he's wearing the suit. He looks at least a little bit more legit. He doesn't look like a fucking loser. Like, oh, mom, take me to the anime convention in my little costume. You know what I mean? He actually looks, like somebody who is okay. Maybe I should kind of respect this guy a little bit. Maybe I should actually pay attention to what he's saying. So I don't think this is going to be good. I'm not going to be, this is going to be must see TV. But at least it's one step in the right direction.
Yeah, that is absolutely true, though. See, that's why we always have different views on stuff. See, the way you're saying it, the way you presented it to me is a lot better than just like, hell, okay, Corbin, and like you said, finally he took away the crown, so that's even better. We'll see, but like again, it's just like why? Because Rollins is out, so that's why they, and also like give him a legit feud. This guy deserves like maybe go for a title. Something that like the guy can actually win, and maybe then you have a baby face that goes after the title. They never do that. That's why this show absolutely sucks. The worst show in WWE Smackdown. Even 205 Live is probably better than this. Let's go with this. Main event. Women's Championship match. Carmella challenging Sasha Banks. It was actually, for the, 10 minutes that we have of a match, it was pretty okay. I'm not going to say it was the best match in the world, but it was pretty decent. And Carmella looked really strong on this. She didn't look bad around Sasha Banks. So he's also Sasha Banks is like favor that she did to Carmella because they put out a pretty decent show. What do you think?
Yeah, and I don't think they gave it away, or they gave it all away, because I do believe we are going to see this at the pay-per-view. It was good. I like that submission Carmella does, where she kind of like locks the leg. Silence. Yeah, there you go. Yep, there it is. I love that submission move that she does, and I believe she locked that on at least twice in this match. But it wasn't too long. But to skip to the end of it, she had Carmella in the corner and just really beat her down. And the ref, 1, 2, 3, a couple of times it was like when Carmella had a submission in the ropes, it went to the 5 count, and the ref was like, he let it go. He didn't go the DQ. She broke it like pretty much after 5, I would say. But then this, Sasha was stomping her in the corner, and it went to the 5 count. So he rang for the bell. So Carmella technically won this thing, but because it was on the DQ, Sasha still retains. And, I think that's why we're going to see this at the pay-per-view. Especially this, you saw Carmella beat her down afterwards. So we're definitely going to see this at the pay-per-view. There's no doubt in my mind. But
it seems like it's going to be like, I like how like also like the liaison of Carmella, like her lackey got involved because Sasha Banks had the bank statement on. And then the guy actually forced Sasha out of the ring. And that's how she let go of the submission hold. And like you said, it was good. And she actually broke like the champagne bottle on Sasha Banks'
Yeah,
back.
that spot I liked. I
Like
liked that a
right
lot.
there,
Yeah.
Sasha right there suffering like the effects of that attack. So you could see Carmella secure, confident. It's that version of Carmella that we've never seen before, because even like when she was the Staten Island Princess or whatever she was, like she didn't have this much confidence. Even the entrance was pretty good, you will say, right? Like going with the dancing and all of that, and then she got like a bottle like right there. We need a bit of champagne after. There's a little bit of liquor after.
A little bit of the bubbly, yeah.
A little bit of the bubbly, yes. Jericho, wherever you are, we'll pay you later. We'll send you like a check or something. But like you said, this was okay. At least, if they give it on the pay per view, that's fine. Something that like you make me remember is that actually the pay per view is going to be next week, so we do have another show with SmackDown. So maybe that's when like they can reschedule something, or be like, hey, it wasn't a clean finish, so I need my match. So maybe like that's why they did it, and it's like we didn't have anything for the show, so that's why we just gave it away.
Yeah, and maybe and I hope this isn't the case, because I don't know how legit this match will be, but maybe they did it what they did this week to have next week. Oh, now it's going to be a TLC match, and I don't know if I want to see a TLC match between Sasha and Carmella, just because I don't think that they have that intensity. With Bayley and Sasha, they had that intensity, they had that trust. That feud deserved it. I don't think this feud deserves it, but I feel like maybe that's what they're going to with this beatdown and everything this week. So
and also, you're not going to have every single match to be TLC, because already, both of the titles are already like, the main titles are TLC. I'm like, really? So every match is just, keep the ladders and the chairs for the whole pay-per-view. Maybe they add a stipulation. You might be right. So if they have the match one more time, but like you said, the rumor with Snoop Dogg, supposedly because he's going to be joining AEW for like a special, Vince is really pissed. So we'll see what happens on that. So next week, don't forget, Bayley and Bianca Belair. See, this should be TLC? No, FS1, because nobody watches FS1. Half of the United States of America do not have FS1, so that's why they have to give it away right there. And on top of that, tag team championship match. We said it. You pin the champion, you automatically become number one contender. No rankings or anything. Whatever, If we complain about AEW, this is even worse. So we're going to see those two things on FS1. For the ones that like love the show and watch it every single Friday night, FS1. All right? So there you go. That's the version and recap of SmackDown from Road Break. Thank you so very much for being with us. Where they can find us in social media, Paul.
You can find us on our Rope Break on Facebook, the OG Rope Break on Twitter, Original Rope Break on Instagram, and of course, right here on YouTube for the home of the #1 podcast in the YouTube wrestling community, the Original Rope Break.
One more time. Thank you so very much. Don't forget, subscribe, bell for all notifications, and tomorrow, Final Resolution, Impact Plus, Jean Paul and myself. There's only one more thing that is left to say, and that is...